Hello and welcome to another episode of Soul Alchemy, your podcast to help you remember your true power and unfold all of your potential. Today, we are going to talk about a topic that is so often spoken about, but so little explained. It's the topic of quantum leaping. Well, you know what I mean. The word quantum leap is out there everywhere. Everyone's using it. It doesn't matter if your focus is the spiritual scene or the self development scene or the space pretty much in the middle, um, or both. You hear the word quantum leap everywhere. But what no one is really explaining to us is what exactly is a quantum leap? And how do we make it happen? So, everyone is talking about how through a quantum leap, we bend time, we take a shortcut, and we create a massive transformation, a massive evolution in a much shorter amount of time than we normally would. But how do we facilitate that? How do we make that happen? And so, this is something I want to talk about today because I have been making quantum leaps as a regular in the last few years of my life. And for me, it was always kind of obvious how to do it without my mind even being able to grasp how I was doing it. And so over this year, I have been really looking at how I am starting and facilitating my own quantum leaps. And I have been tearing apart the codes, the strategy, the way of actually creating a quantum leap in one's own life. And so this is where I want to dive in with you today. I want to talk about how I experienced quantum leaps in my life, how I navigate them, how I initiate them, how I facilitate them, and how I navigate them, and how I figured out how to really not just like hop on the train when a quantum leap is offering itself, but like choose quantum leaps and make them happen for yourself on a regular basis whenever you want and navigate them in a way that is safe for your nervous system and that allows you to land on the other side fully intact, feeling great. Okay, so let's dive in. I want to start with a little story. You guys know me by now. I always love to explain things through stories because I think that stories just help us understand so much better because, yeah, we can relate. We can relate through stories. So I want to tell you the story of how I decided to move to another country. Well, actually, this was one of my biggest quantum leaps ever. It was in 2021. Actually, it all started in summer. It was one of those really, really warm days, and my partner and I, we were sitting outside on a balcony and we were discussing things, and we had been talking about moving to Italy for quite a long time already, but it was never really a serious thing. It was never like we're gonna move then and then. It was always like at some point in the future. And we were always talking about moving further to the south. And that day, we were talking about how we felt that the apartment we were staying in was starting to be a bit too small and we wanted to look for a bigger apartment. And it was like, it was just time to move. And so we were discussing, and then at some point, we got to the conclusion, oh my God, let's just move to Italy. We don't have to move right away all the way to the south because his job still kept him in the area, and this way we decided to just move to the very north of Italy where his parents are actually living in that area and where he grew up as a child, or at least part of his childhood he grew up here. And so we said, let's just move to Italy, even if we're staying in the north, so he can stay close enough for his job, because that is just like a bit more than an hour of drive from where we used to live in Austria. So we weren't that far away. And I said, yeah, let's just do it. Let's just jump. And this way we can already move our businesses, all our information, everything to Italy. So that when we then move further to the south, there's much less to do. And we were like, okay, let's do this. Let's just go look for an apartment in Italy. And we were kind of sitting there like, oh my God. And I was like, totally, because my partner, he's kind of a bit more chill about moving because all his childhood he moved a lot. So for him, he's a bit used to that. But I lived all my life in that same little village in Austria. I had never moved anywhere further away than to the other side of the village. And so for me, it was like really huge. And he was kind of like asking me, are you sure you're ready for this? And I was like, no, I'm freaking scared. But I know I need to do this. I know I need to do this. And it feels so right, although it scares the hell out of me. And so we went on it. We made that decision. We decided in that moment it's time to leave the country. It's time to move to Italy. And we right away went. We looked for apartments, we looked for places, and we started getting clear on what we wanted. The idea, we wanted a bigger apartment, we wanted to have an extra room for us to use as an office since we were both working a lot from home. We wanted to have not just a small balcony, but at least a big terrace or a garden. And like, so we were setting up all these ideas of what we wanted. And we went out and we looked for apartments. And the first 2 months were like, ugh, it was exhausting. It was so exhausting because we were really, really struggling with finding places in the area we wanted to move to. Well, first of all, it's not such a huge place. The town we're living in now has barely 7,000 people, so you can imagine there's not that much in houses and stuff. And then we had all these ideas of what we wanted, and we wanted to have a place that is very bright, where there's a lot of sunlight, because the apartment we had been living in was pretty and everything, but it was a bit dark, and we didn't want that anymore. And so we had all these ideas of what we wanted, and we didn't want to go for anything that was less than that. So yeah, we went out and we looked at so many places and apartments, and nothing really fit our criteria, and it was quite frustrating. So, and here I want to shortly take a little turn on how to the whole quantum leap topic, because this is really where you see the first steps on how to create a quantum leap in your life, which is first, when the moment comes and you can feel this is the next thing to me for me to go to do, to have, you have to make a decision. And it cannot be the kind of decision that maybe, it has to be clear. You have to make the decision. You have to choose the leap. So sometimes the leap presents itself like there with the move, and sometimes the leap is just, it's not that much of a, from an outside perspective, or from through a process it presents itself. It's more of a, I really want this. I really want this. Like for me with starting a different business after we moved. I really, really want this. And so we gotta sometimes choose the leap. And then we make a decision and say, okay, I want this so much, I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna leap. And sometimes it's just, oh my God, I'm feeling this is coming. This is presenting my next level. This is the thing that I gotta do. Okay, I'm choosing to leap. So these are the two ways in which we can initiate a quantum leap. And the initiation of the quantum leap is always the choice. Make the freaking choice and do not move from it. It's okay if you doubt, if you're doubting a little bit here and there. It's okay if you're scared for moments. It's okay that you're human. But you gotta be 51% convinced that you want it no matter what. And that's what's gonna happen. So you can have 49% fears, doubts, be scared, and have all these crazy ideas of how it's gonna drive you into ruin, whatever your fears are. But 51% of you needs to be convinced and stick with the decision no matter what. Already that 1% more, it's enough. It's enough. And so I had doubts coming up. I had fears coming up as we were not be able to find good apartments. As it looked like, oh my god, there's already so little apartments available, and then nothing fits our criteria. And then I have to find a good stable for my horse, and that's even more difficult to find than a good apartment because I have even more criteria there. Because yeah, my horse lives in luxury, always has, always will. Um, yeah, so it was like the universe was like, do you really want this? Do you really want this? Here's the test. Can you keep going even when everything wants you to stop? And that's the next part. Facilitating a quantum leap means to keep going when everything seems like it wants to make you stop. Because when we say we want a quantum leap, we want to step into that next level, the universe says, okay, sure, you'll get it. But let's see if you are ready to face the not so comfortable parts about this truth, about this next level of yourself. Because you're not supposed to only have the nice, the happy stuff, the perfect little apartment and the perfect little stable. That's not going to fall into your lap. You also have to handle the idea, the energy that comes with it, the energy, the other side of the whole spectrum, which is you have to leave everything behind that there's gonna be challenges, there's gonna be hardship. Can you hold that? Can you hold that? And do you still want it when things that get difficult? Are you able to handle this new level that you're asking for? And so the universe tests us, and so it throws challenges at us. And so for us it was, we were not finding an apartment for months that was even close to fitting our criteria. And we were not able to find a stable for months that was even close to fitting our criteria. And so the universe was like asking, even if it's so hard to find the perfect place, the right place, you still want it? You still keep going? You still keep looking? And we did. We did the inner work. I remember I had so many healing sessions at that time because so much stuff came up as we were preparing for that move. In the process of us not finding an apartment, I had to transform so much within me. There was so much to be let go of for me to make that leap. And so I did the work. I took the healing sessions. I had a wonderful support there, wonderful healer who helped me through the process to let go of all these things that I needed to let go of. And yeah, that is the second step of quantum leaping. It's a four-part process. And the second step is, as you've initiated the quantum leap, the tests will come in. And the tests are not there to discourage you, they are there to help you find out if you want this, if you want it. Do you really, really want it? And the thing is, if you're getting super discouraged and really notice, like, boy, if it's that difficult to make that happen, I don't want it anymore. That can be good for you too. It's not a bad thing to realize as the test comes in. It's actually not what I wanted. These tests come in so that we're sure that it's what we want. Otherwise, we might manifest it and then we're having it and then we're like, oh shit, I don't even want this. This is not making me happy. So that's why the test comes. And it's okay to realize, ugh, if it's that hard, I don't want it anymore. It's not worth it. It's just not close enough to my heart for that. And sometimes, often, it's the other way around. We're going through the test and we're like, okay, this is crazy hard, but I want this. I want this, so I'm gonna keep going, even when it gets really hard. And so that's the facilitating of the leap. This is all about letting go. The first step of the facilitating of the leap is like the facilitation of the leap is let go of that which stands in the way between you and your next level. Because what comes up as we're going through these tests is all the layers where we hold resistance, all the stories we tell ourselves why we can't or why it's a bad idea, or all of that shit comes up. which is an amazing thing because as it comes up, we can go in, we can release it, we can let it go, and we can move forward towards our goal. And so that is that next step. The second step is all about letting go that which stands in the way between you and what you want after you found out you really want it. And so moving through these tests, seeing them as a gift that helps you release anything that keeps you from having your ideal outcome at the end of that quantum leap. And so then the next phase starts. Well, that is probably, to me, it's still the most challenging phase. So I'm going to go back to the story. So we moved through all of this. We let go of everything. We let go of the resistance, everything that was standing in the way. And after we did that, by then it was December. We actually, from one day to the next, it was literally so on point, like the universe saying, okay, you got it, guys. Here you go. From one day to the next, out of nowhere, we found an apartment, and it was literally so like where they had put the, oh my god, I forgot the English word for it. Well, doesn't matter. Like it was so aligned, like the place where they had put out that they're renting out that there was an apartment available. Like it was so unusual. We would never look at that normally in that place. It was in a newspaper. We normally don't even purchase newspapers, and definitely not read them. And so we stumbled over it. It was literally the first time that they were putting out anything. We called them. We went to see the apartment the same day. It was a total fit. The apartment is more than perfect. Like everything that we wanted is there. The extra room, the office, the giant terrace. Like it's so big. The terrace is as big as half of the apartment. Perfect. Direction southwards. Super bright place. Lots of light. Lots of glass. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Even the price was perfect. Everything was great. And so it was just such a fit. And even that day, still we shook hands on it. They wanted us as renters, we wanted the apartment, and so we were in. We shook hands on it. The next day we got the contract, we signed the contract, and it was done within 2 days. And it was so crazy. And so we knew that we would move in by the end of January, as the renter who was still in the place was going to move out within January, and then it still had to be painted and everything. And so we prepared. We um, we prepared everything, and like it was really like the universe saying, "Okay, let's go. You got it. You understood it. You released the resistance. You want it. Let's give you that." And the coolest thing was after that, within, was it even 10 days? I think it wasn't even 10 days. Within just a few days after that, we also found the perfect stable for my horse, where everything I wanted her to have, she could have everything that I wanted myself to have. Because in the past, I had her in stables where for her it was perfect, but for me it wasn't so perfect, because usually there were a few little things that I had to do myself that forced me to go there on a daily basis, and that made it really difficult for me to go on holidays, because I always had to find someone to replace me to do those little things on a daily basis. And so I wanted a stable for her where that was not the case, where everything was done for me, and I would just go there to take care of my horse and ride, and I wouldn't have to do daily works, and I would be independent. First of all, I wouldn't have to go on a daily basis, and second of all, when I go on holidays, I know she's cared for, and I don't need to worry about anything. And so within not even 10 days, we found that perfect stable where all of that was fulfilled. Everything she needed, everything I needed. Super sweet people, beautiful place. It was just perfect. Amazing price, even cheaper than the stable I was in before. Like, it was just perfect. And so All of that totally landed. But we often think, oh yeah, now we made the quantum leap, right? Like the manifestation landed. We wanted the apartment, we wanted the stable. It's here. Well, that is not the end of the quantum leap. Mm. Sorry, I'm talking so much right now. I need some water. Okay. You can feel I'm a bit passionate about that stuff. That's why I'm talking so fast. Okay. So let's continue. This is just where the quantum leap starts. Like the manifestation starts to show itself. But there is another part to it. Okay. So what happened then was by January, we started moving. Like we had everything set up. And so we moved. Everything went well. The move went well. Yeah, there were some little challenges here and there, but altogether you could say things went quite well. And so we moved into the new place. And that's where the challenge, the next aspect of the quantum leap started. Navigating the effects of the leap, of the manifestation landing. Because it's one thing to want something, it's one thing to get it theoretically, like to have the okay, you can have the apartment, the okay, you can have the stable. And it's another thing to actually get it and live it. And so, what happens when we actually get the thing we desire is there's another layer of stuff coming up. So, we actually had moved into the apartment, we actually had moved the horse into the stable, we actually were living in this place, and it was another level of having to navigate stuff coming up. I remember the first 2 months I was pretty much crying every day because I was working through so much deep shit coming up. Like, there were so many stories coming up, there were so many triggers, like, I had to heal so many things that were coming up from me receiving what I wanted to receive. Not because I didn't deserve to receive it, but because receiving it triggered within me all the stories where I told myself that I wasn't worthy of receiving it, that I wasn't worthy to live like that I wasn't worthy of this. And all the other stuff that came up with it, not just the worthiness, but also like that I couldn't handle it, that I wasn't able to, that it's just outside our comfort zone. It's just outside our comfort zone, and that's why we are so tested. The facilitation of the preparation for the quantum leap, the process that we're going through where we're tested, is there to make sure our nervous system can handle it when we receive what we asked for. Because when we receive what we've asked for, all the stuff that we have been holding on to, that is challenged or that is troubled by us receiving that, will come up. And so we need to be able to navigate that. And that's why I call it the navigation of the quantum leap. Because when we actually get it, we gotta know how to navigate the receiving of it. Often receiving is more difficult than giving for us. Because receiving something so big that it feels like, oh my God, I don't know how to handle this much good in my life, this much good energy, it can bring up such deep wounds. And so this is what happens there. When we go into the navigation of the leap, when we receive the actual thing, the next part that we have to do is navigate the receiving, learning to hold that much energy. And that's why we tested before, to make sure that our nervous system can handle navigating this receiving, navigating what we're receiving. And so it's all about doing the inner work and navigating your nervous system through it, keeping yourself in a way that feels safe. And sometimes it means I cry every day. I cry every day because there's so much I need to release, so many stories of how I'm unworthy and undeserving and blah blah blah. For me it was that. So yeah, the next challenge comes when we actually receive the thing that we wanted and it's actually landed physical in our reality. It's not just on paper, but we are living it. So that's where we gotta navigate all the stories that are telling us how this is dangerous for us. Like, it's out of our comfort zone. It's out of our comfort zone to receive something that big. It's out of our comfort zone to experience something that good, that great. Because our nervous system does not differentiate between the things that are negative and the things that are positive. It only differentiates between within what we know, means within our comfort zone, and outside of what we know, outside of our comfort zone. And it considers everything outside of our comfort zone as dangerous, no matter how good it is. It can be super amazing, the best thing that could ever happen to you. And your nervous system says that's not safe because it doesn't know it. And that's how our nervous system are wired. So we need to learn how to regulate them and expand them so they can get used to new things. So we can make the unknown safe for us. And that's often why people who like win the lottery and from one day to the next they receive millions of dollars, millions of euros, they they lose that money really quickly. Like, they spend it all and they're back to where they were before they won the lottery within a year. Why? Because their nervous system can't hold it. It's so far outside their comfort zone, outside of what they're used to. They just can't handle it. So they have to get rid of it. That's what their nervous system tells them. And if we don't look at that program underneath and we learn how to regulate our nervous systems and keep ourselves stable of through the process of doing this, through the process of receiving this, and like expanding our capacity, our comfort zones into this new dimension, then we might receive the thing we asked for, but we're gonna lose it again. You know what I mean? So we gotta learn how to navigate the shift, navigate that next level in a way that we make it feel safe for our nervous system. And so this is the next step. And then comes the best step after that. So I'm going back to the story. So I had spent like 2 months or so doing nothing but doing the inner work, crying, letting go. It was intense, but it was also a big thing I had called in. So I was ready to do the work. And then comes the landing. And so after about 2 months, something changed, something shifted. And I could feel how things started to become lighter. And I felt more space within me. And I started realizing how much space I had created through those 2 months where I was releasing so many old stories, wounds. I was healing so much within me. And I started feeling so much love, so much gratitude, so much expansion within myself like never before. I was happy every day to wake up and look outside and have that wonderful view. Like, if you're watching my Instagram stories, you have seen that view. I'm literally looking at the most beautiful nature, and straight outside my window is this castle on a hill that's lit up by the sun every morning in the most magical way. It's like that view, you can't make it up. It's amazing. And so I remember how I started waking up every day, looking out the window, thinking, oh my God, how crazy lucky I am. Look at that view. Look at that place. Look at that life. Oh my God, I'm so lucky. And all that gratitude was flooding me, expanding me. I felt so much love. I felt so much joy. I felt so much happiness. That was an incredible shift that happened for me, that happened within me as I was experiencing the quantum leap landing, integrating, me having made it to the other side where I could actually hold the magic I had called in and what it meant for my life to experience it and who I had become through navigating the calling in and the integrating it, and the person I got to be on the other side of that quantum leap. And so often we don't think about, when we want something, who we become through the process of making it happen, receiving it, and living it. And this is actually where we stick the landing. Because everything we desire, from a soul perspective, it is not so much about what we get, what we receive in our outside world, but it is about who we become, what we learn, how we expand ourselves, our soul, our energy, our persona through making this a reality for ourselves, through receiving it. It's about who we become, because in the end, everything we want, we only want it for how it makes us feel. It's not actually the thing, it's the way we feel as we have it, as we experience it. It's the way it makes us feel that we want. It's the embodiment. And so the landing is really all about allowing yourself to embrace who you have become through navigating the leap, and allowing yourself to receive that thing. You're allowing yourself to fully receive it, and in that you become so much bigger, because the expansion is landing. And the expansion is not just outside of you, it's especially within you. The outside reflects the expansion that happened within you and the person you have become through the process of creating that expansion. And that is the landing. Living from that place and then letting it flow into all areas of your life. And so the last step, the landing, it's less about us needing to do anything. It's more about celebrating ourselves, celebrating who we have become, enjoying. And this is probably the most important piece to the whole puzzle. Enjoying that which you have received, that which you have created for yourself, the person you have become. Enjoy that person you have become. Because if we cannot enjoy what we received, what we've created for ourselves, it doesn't matter how amazing it is, it will not mean anything. We will not be happy. It will never be enough if we don't learn how to enjoy it. And quantum leaps are all about that. It's amazing to want more. We should all want more. Of course, we're here to expand, we're here to evolve. But can we want more while being so grateful, so happy, and celebrating big time everything we have already achieved and everything that we already have? Can I be so happy with this place I'm living in, this beautiful apartment, this amazing stable, this wonderful nature? Enjoy it to the biggest and enjoy the person I have become through it. So expanded, so much more grateful, so much more heart open, so much more loving, so much more joyful, and want the next leap. And know what my next thing is that I want to bring into life. Can we do both? Can we have, I'm going to use the quote that I'm going to use a quote from Melanie and Leah. Can we have one foot in gratitude and one foot in desire? That is balance. And that is how we navigate how we really navigate a quantum leap. And because with that attitude and with that principle, to really at the end of a quantum leap allow ourselves to go into real celebration, seeing, loving, feeling, and super celebrating what we have done, what we have created for ourselves, the leap that we have landed, we are creating the fertile soil for the next leap to happen. One foot in gratitude, one foot in desire. So live the gratitude so big that it creates such a fertile soil that when you're ready, and often that happens sooner than we think, when you're ready to actually focus on that foot on the in desire, on that other foot in desire again, and create the next quantum leap for yourself, you have such a strong foundation of gratitude that nothing can throw you off. And that is really like the key, the finish line of a quantum leap, the landing is literally the preparation for the next leap. And so through the whole process, we stay in in that process of one foot in gratitude, one foot in desire. We always try to find that balance and make ourselves aware. But sometimes we focus a bit more on the gratitude, and sometimes we focus a bit more on the desire, depending on where we want to go right now. That doesn't mean the other is not there. It just means depending on what we want to create in our lives, we have to focus on one a bit more than the other. And so the landing of the quantum leap means focusing just a bit more on that gratitude for now to build that foundation where you feel so nourished, so nurtured, so good and stable and healthy and ready that when you focus again on the desire, you're just shooting out there like a rocket, ready to do it. It's like you're creating your own recovery phase or your own nourishing phase through celebrating what you've received. And when you're nourished and nurtured and ready to go into the next adventure of what you want to how you want to expand and what you want to expand into, there's nothing you lack. You're so ready to take it on. It doesn't scare you because you have everything you need. And so these are the four phases of navigating, initiating, facilitating, and landing a quantum leap, of quantum leaping. And so, why am I talking about this right now? Well, I, as I said, I have been unraveling the how over the last year to really bring through the codes on how to do this. And I gave you a bit of an overview now. It's a bit of a construct, like a simple idea, a concept where you have the overall idea. But of course, this is a podcast. I cannot show you exactly how to do it. I cannot give you the tools, the methods, the how to go through each phase and like show you exactly on point on how I navigated the, I don't know, by now 50 quantum leaps that I've already done in the last years, and how I learned to really create the structure for myself to make the quantum leaps easily na- easily handleable for myself, like to really understand what I need when and help myself through it in a way it happens faster, it happens easier, it happens more aligned. And so I cannot give you these tools in a podcast. And so I've created a program. Well, this program is designed, it's called Quantum Leap, fitting, and it is designed to help you navigate your own quantum leaps. We're going to have a quantum leap as we're doing it. So each one is going to navigate their quantum leap. But it's also giving you all the tools that you need to navigate any future quantum leaps you want to make. Anything you want to create in your life with these tools, you have the foundation, you have the structure, that the container that can really hold you for any quantum leap you want to make without you feeling lost and feeling thrown around. And so it's gonna be a 4 module program, and it's gonna start at the beginning of the new year 2024, so that we are really starting the new year with a quantum leap, and that you are leveling up right away at the beginning of the year, setting yourself up for success, setting yourself up for your next level as you're moving into that year, opening your next level, inviting it, bringing it in, landing it, and moving into the next year as the next best version of yourself, with that next best version of your life. And so that's what we're going to do in Quantum Leap. It's going to be a 4 module program. And We're going to start in January. And so right now we're in the pre-launch phase. So this it came through, and like always, this is another small quantum leap for me. It just came through the other day that I had to do this. I didn't even yet have time to set up a sign up page. There's literally nothing where you can actually read about it yet, but it wanted to come through, and so I'm putting it out there. It wants to happen fast. So that's what I'm doing. I'm putting it out there. And for now, this is super cool for you, because for now you can get a pre-launch deal. I haven't even launched it yet, so you're getting an awesome pre-launch deal. So currently, what you are getting is, when you purchase the program, I wanted to make it really fun and like really give you something amazing. So what you're getting when you purchase the program, on top of just getting the program, I'm gifting you a one-on-one session with me, where I'm really going to support you in the process of facilitating your quantum leap. And you choose when you want to have it. If you want to have it in the beginning, in the middle, or at the end, whenever you feel like you need that one on one support, you're going to get a one on one session from me. And on top of that, and where I'm going to help you really, really facilitate that quantum leap on a deep level. And we make sure that you are so supported that there is no way that you're not landing this thing. And this is super cool because the program in the pre-launch deal is 444 euros. And as I said, I'm gifting you the one-on-one session. So you're getting a one-on-one session at the value of 255 euros on top of the program for free. So you're getting the program and a one-on-one session for 444 euros. That's like, it's a no-brainer. Like, honestly, if I wouldn't be the one facilitating this program and someone else would offer me that program with that content, I wouldn't even think about it. I would just hop in. I mean, the stuff that we're going to do in this program, it's going to be through the roof. Like, this is something you can use anytime to change your life. I mean, to change your life. This is like, I'm giving you the formula, the codes, where you can make any change in your life anytime you want. This is crazy. Like, I can't even believe I'm offering that kind of program for that price. But the holidays are coming up. I just feel like I want to make it possible for everyone who really wants to bring massive change to their life. So why not make it easy to hop in? Why not put it at a price point where it's easy, where you don't even have to think, where it's a no-brainer? So, yeah, if you are interested in that, reach out to me through my social media. I'm gonna put all the social media links in the description below. I'm gonna put my email also in the description below. You can also write me an email if you want in. Currently, you can only hop in through contacting me directly, as there is no sign up page yet. That pre-launch deal will only be up and available until there's a sign up page. And I cannot say right now when that will be, but the pre-launch deal will only be available until I have a sign-up page prepared. And when the sign-up page goes out, the pre-launch deal is off. Then you are not getting the extra session with me anymore. So if you feel called, don't even think about it. Hop in. You can even do it with a payment plan where you have two payments of $222, euros, sorry. Where you have 222 euros. You pay once before we start the program, and then once when we're in the middle of the program. And so you can, for example, if you're feeling like, oh my God, I want this, but I cannot afford it, you can to pay it all at once. You can take the payment plan, you pay 222 now, and you pay 222 then in January. To make it really easy. I want this to be really easy for people to jump in on, because this foundation, like, learning this, figuring this out, and knowing how to navigate this and use this in my life has changed my life. The way I evolve, the way I expand, the way I experience life has changed so drastically for me, learning this stuff, learning to understand it, learning to navigate it, and learning to use it for my advantage. And so I want you to have this. I want you to have these possibilities. I want you to have these codes, these formulas, these structures that you can implement for your life. And so, yeah, this is the deal. And yeah, if you're interested, just let me know. Send me a DM. And yeah, I really hope that this episode served you. Like, this is really, for me, it's one of the biggest things I ever got to learn in my life. It's one of the most magical things I ever got to learn in my life. And if that has served you, that episode has served you, please leave me a comment below. I love to hear what you're taking away from these episodes. Like, I'm there in the comments, I read, I answer, and I love to hear what you're taking away from these episodes. So please leave me a comment below if this has served you. Let me know what has been coming up for you. Leave me, yeah, just anything you have to say to this episode. Like, I love to hear your feedback. I love to hear what's happening for you as you listen to these episodes. And yeah, yeah, let's quantum leap. What do you guys say? I mean, if you end up being called by the program or not, let's quantum leap together, right? Like, let's make this a reality. Let's use these possibilities we have to create the best possible life, because that's why we're here, right? That's why we're here. So let's leap together. Well, with that said, this episode has kind of ended up being quite long compared to the other episodes that I usually create. So I hope you enjoyed it. I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, and here's another little information for you to know as kind of important. Episodes will, for the next few months, uploaded every 2 weeks instead of every week, because I'm feeling, as I'm navigating so much stuff coming in, so much new stuff that wants to be created, that two weekly rhythm is serving a lot more. Often they might actually end up being longer, but then they come out every 2 weeks because I want to dive deeper into topics. And yeah, so every 2 weeks, and this is like the minimum. So if I feel it, and if I feel called and stuff is coming through, I might end up doing anyway, an episode every week, or even podcast publish 2 episodes per week. But like one episode every 2 weeks is the minimum. So just so you guys know, and you don't wonder if you don't get the weekly notifications, it's going to be every 2 weeks for now, as I'm navigating all this amazing stuff coming through that I get to share with you. Oh my God, I'm so excited. There's so much coming up. Stay tuned. I love you guys so much. And yeah, I want you to have the most beautiful, beautiful day. Take care. See you, or better said, hear you in the next episode. Bye.